A very good evening for making our time to be here with me once again today. I want to welcome you back to this channel, and my name is Kufre Ian. I could say good afternoon, I could say good morning, I could say good evening. That's because of the time zone that you'll be watching me from. But in all, I want to thank you for making our time to be here. I made some videos in the last time trying to introduce the tenant and then trying to show us how to create the users. And I made a promise that in the next time I'll be talking about each of the menus of the admin center. Let me do a quick rundown. Before now, when I talked about the admin center, I said that the admin center is just like a cockpit for a pilot, or it's like a control tower for an airport where the air traffic controller controls the coming in and the going out of an aircraft inside an airport. So the admin center is also like a control hub where everything about users, about security, about applications, and collaboration comes together. And so I wouldn't like to make this video a very long one. And so, but in this series, we'll walk through each of the menus inside the admin center one by one. I'll try as much as I can to make this video as short as possible so we can assimilate, bring up questions and see how to go. And the goal is really simple, to make it easier to understand how everything works. I want this to feel like a learning journey where we're taking it together. Because honestly, I'm also learning as I go. So I'm not a perfect person in this training session, but I want to come this way that your comments, your questions, and even your corrections will go a long way in making this a better session for all of us all. So please, I am pleading that you don't just watch. I need you to engage, I need you to ask, I need you to share your thoughts, and let's make this a true community learning experience. I'm glad to have you here, and I can't wait to grow with you as you explore on the admin center. So while we get started, I'd like to share my screen. So once again, thank you so much for making out that time to be here with me today. I am really, really grateful. So I'm going to share my screen of the admin center. So admin center screen. I hope you can see my screen. So what you have here is the admin center for myself. That's why you have welcome or good evening for Ian. It's actually evening here from Nigeria. And so with our time zone, it's evening for us. Yours could be morning. Thank you so much. All right, so on the admin center, we have the home, we have co-pilots, then we have the users. We'll be starting first with the users. So you click on the user, we have menus drop down. The first menu we have there is the active users. So when I click on the active users, here is where you can create and manage users' accounts. It could be employers, they could be contractors. But the typical task here is that you add a new user, you assign or remove licenses, you reset passwords, you can block, you can block, you can sign in, you can force a multi-factor authentication, and you can set mailbox or OneDrive settings. They can all be done here at the active user, which you can see them from the menus which we have up here. An example of this kind of action is what we did in the last session, where you onboard a new hire, you can assign licenses to them. Now, the next thing we have here is the contact. Now, why do we have the contacts? These contacts mostly are mail contacts. They're contacts that are from external people outside your own company. And you have these emails here so that they become searchable in your address. For example, if you have a vendor's CEO from another company, and they don't have to sign into your tenants, but their emails are there on your directory. So your users can easily select them. So an example of this kind of contact could be maybe info@a supplier.com, probably a supplier. So if your staff has to mail the supplier, he just picks the supplier's address directly from the contacts. Now, what I have next is the guest user. Now, the guest user is for external collaborators who do sign in, who do. Remember, the contacts don't sign in, but external collaborators who do sign in. This one signing, but they sign in with limited access. That's why they are called guests. So their permissions are the ones that are given to them from Azure Active Directory. So you can invite them to your Teams, to your SharePoint, to your apps, but they have to authenticate with their own organization or personal account. An instance of this is inviting partners and project management to a team so they can read documents and join meetings without getting a full paid license unless you assign that to them. And so the next thing we have here is the deleted users. These deleted users is more or less like a recycle bin for accounts. Usually they get stored in your tenants for 30 days. And then if, for instance, the person who has to come back to the company, maybe resign, and then has need to come back to the company, this person's details stays in the recycle bin for 30 days and can be restored. You can also permanently delete if you want to, not like you can't, but if you don't delete it permanently, it gets stored there for 30 days before it gets off permanently. So restoring can bring back all the mailboxes, all the transfers you have from your OneDrive during the offboarding. You can always have it back um, within the 30 days of the time. Now, the next thing we'll have here, I'm going to just minimize this. The next thing we'll have here is the teams and the groups. The first one we have on the teams and the groups is the active teams and groups. Now, from what you have here, we have the teams and the Microsoft 365 groups. We have the distribution list, and we also have the security groups. All groups types. These are the kind of groups we have. So Microsoft 365 groups, they are used for teams, they're used for planners, they're used for SharePoint, security group, and the distribution list. Managing here affects memberships, owners, and connected resources. So for anything you manage here, it might affect a user based on how you have got this user in, as at the time when the user came into the company. So these are things that you have to note. I'll get to policies. Now, policies here, there are two things you have to note when you're talking about policies. Please, you need to note the naming policy. I need to note the expiration policy. We'll talk more about this, but I need to know that you need to note that naming policy because you need to keep your groups tidy and compliant. If you have issues with the naming policy, you have issues with the way your policies are run. And these policies mostly are for Microsoft 365 groups. So your expiration policy also, you need to note it to auto expire unused groups unless owners renew them. So an expiration policy auto expire unused groups except unless owners renew. So that's one thing you have to note. And then the last thing on these, okay, we still have deleted groups. Deleted groups here is soft deleted Microsoft 365 groups, including the teams behind them. It can usually be restored within 30 days, just like we said before, saving the team, SharePoint, site, and the resources. Example, if someone accidentally deletes a project team, restore the group to recover the team and the files. It can also be done. And so the next we have here, we have talked a little about it when we were talking about exchange. We're looking at shared mailboxes. Mailboxes that are shared are for people who are in a group. And then this does not require separate licenses. You could look at a shared mailbox to be probably for a department, say the sales department, who chooses to have a mailbox, for instance, shared sales at probably contoso.com, a team of 6 people in the sales department. For any time a customer sends a mail to the sales department, everyone can see it and anyone can reply at any time. This is one thing that we have to note about shared mailboxes. All right. Okay, we can still move further if there's need. Okay. Or we could hold it there today so we don't have to take it too long, because like I said, I want to keep it short so we understand how these things are done. It's already 12 minutes. I want to thank you so much for today, and then we'll continue in the next series. Let's take it step by step so it doesn't go too long, so we can assimilate these things. My name is Kufra Ian. It was nice having you. Please stay strong. Let's keep going. Thank you.